Welcome back to Donald Kent Art. We're so happy to have you guys here today. We've got wonderful guests. We're going to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Yuletide, Happy Saturnalia. And I want to just do a brief intro, and then I'll intro the guests, and we'll get right into the cool show we've got today. Welcome to the White Art Community Christmas celebration. We've got a great show, of course. We've got friends from Justice Report, Patriotic Alternative. Unfortunately, Mark Collette could not make it tonight. There's a little time issue. It's quite late over there in the UK, so apologies. But let me start off by saying that the arts community has gone through a lot of changes, a lot of challenges this year, but the community continues to grow and produce wonderful works of white positive culture, pro-white art. Regardless of the challenges in the white identity struggle, we're strong and we're moving forward into 2024 with great prospects and a healthy arts culture. Our enemies know the power of the arts and entertainment in its demonizing effect. However, the white art community is connecting audiences with our history and heritage in both digital and traditional media. I'd also like to take just a moment to remember Jeff Winston, the creator of the White Art Collective, whom we lost this year. I want to thank our community for donating over $26,000 to Hyrith and their 3-month-old child. This is truly a testament of the caliber of our people in the white identity movement. On behalf of their family and the founding members of the White Art Collective, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Though Jeff is not with us, his spirit endures, and we honor that spirit by carrying the torch on our platforms. Although the White Art Collective was Jeff's LLC, the community that he built is still growing, stronger than ever. So welcome to 2.0, the White Art Community. Fighting against white replacement is a human rights movement, and you in the movement are the backbone of that struggle. The arts and our political culture reflect this struggle, creating an historic record of our era. So, wow, what a time to be alive. So let's celebrate this holiday together. And let me start off by introducing my wonderful guests today. I'll start off with John Fassbender, Director of the American Freedom Party. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing very well, Donald. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, and we should be playing a little bit of music from you soon. We've got a new voice in the White Art Collective here with John's new music. Let me move over to Nullis, my good friend Nullis, Conversations with the Wind, White Art Collective, co-host for Imperium Art, and my dear friend. How are you, sir?
Hi, Donald, and hello, everybody here at the guest panel, and hello to the audience. Thank you for joining us.
Indeed. And then there is Miss Santa Claus down there with the lovely hat on. Welcome to the amazing Yiz. Tell us about all the new shows you've got, Yiz.
It's not all the new shows. It's just one.
Oh, okay.
I'm mostly a joker, a meme smith. I like to entertain and I like to inspire people to not give up. And so most of my work has been interviewing other people. And my main stream is a Monday night stream called Discordant Dragons, where each week I have on a bunch of guests. I have 5 topics that I pretend are questions that make-believe dragons have about our ridiculous world. And I use that as a framework for them to ask blunt and bold questions to make people think about, the sinister shit being done to white people. And at the end of the show, we review memes and I play funny videos and stuff. It's a very, kind of loose, fun stream, but we talk about serious stuff. Speaking of serious stuff, the new stream series I started 5 weeks ago is called The Empire of Lies. And that's on Thursday evening at 6 p.m. And excuse me. And that's where me and my co-host Chris, another pro-white newscaster guy, we analyze and discuss in a more dry academic way for around an hour at a time the building blocks of the anti-white narrative that we all labor under today. We talk about the Frankfurt School and all the other horse shit that's been going on, and we do our best to be honest and speak about the J's and J power as it comes up, but we are doing our best to keep our noses clean so it can reach as many people as possible. And our goal with this is to get white identity ideas about replacement and anti-whiteism and all this stuff into as many minds of sort of neutral academic people as possible. So it's going pretty well. We've had a lot of success with it so far, hundreds of views per episode thus far. We haven't broken 100 live viewers yet, but we're getting close. And we're doing pretty good. And Chris he's got the good mind for the academic autism. I've got, I'd like to think at least I have a little bit of charm and charisma to add to the whole affair. And that's been going really well the last 5 weeks. And we'll be doing our 6th episode this coming Thursday at 6 p.m. And I guess that's enough of an introduction for me now. And
okay, awesome. Yeah, and I was just on your show, Discordant Dragons, on Monday, which was so much fun. That was actually a really great show.
It was a great episode. People said it was one of the best episodes we've had in a while. It was a good one.
Golly gee. So let's move on to my good friend, Mark Brahman. Mark, the epic friend that I have here. Let's talk to Mark. How are you doing today, sir? You're on mute.
Good. Yeah. I don't know if I'm epic, but thank you.
Well, you are in my mind. So tell the audience a little bit about you.
Well, yeah. So, I'm still doing, I don't know if people here are already somewhat familiar with my work, which is maybe famous or infamous, probably more infamous in these spheres than famous.
Yeah.
But I'm continuing that, and I have a book coming out called REM Theory, Racial Esoteric Moralization, and it's being published by Richard Spencer's publishing house, and I'm working with him. We are collaborating on an online university called Alexandria University.
Amazing.
And things are going really well. It's a lot of people have subscribed, and it's a kind of growing. We're on Substack right now, so it's a growing community.
Wow.
But we're teaching classes, and the classes are, there's some philosophy in there as well, but primarily we're teaching REM theory, which I guess if I'm to give a kind of easy description of it, it's essentially a Roman interpretation or interpretado romana applied to art, including contemporary art, but also ancient art, to the Hebrew Bible and so forth. But it's a way of looking at art, and whether in the contemporary world or in the ancient world, dating back to Sumer, whether biblical works or so-called pagan works in the ancient world, it's a way of looking at them and deciphering meaning, essentially, understanding a kind of what I would call a sort of shared symbol language that is something that I would say that Jews in particular, especially in the modern world, in the sort of post, pagan Roman world, Jews are especially kind of conversant in this symbol language.
Right.
And we see this, and we're able to kind of verify this through an analysis of Hollywood films, for example, or comic books and this sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's really fascinating stuff. I mean, I think that the book, quite frankly, I think the book is going to be kind of a breakthrough. Yeah, I mean, it's challenging to Jung's theories.
Carl Jung. Yeah. Listen, when it's all ready to roll, then I'd be happy to debut everything or do anything I can on my channel to help out with that. So
and I'll come back.
Sure. Very good.
Yeah. And then outside of that, I'm working on some artistic projects where I'm applying REM theory. So again, the term means racial esoteric moralization, and this basically it's embedding a ethnic subtext into art through a strong understanding of the symbol language, so that it can make. Please.
I just want to say that had a huge impact on me and what I do in the pro-white artistic sphere. So I'm really grateful about all that. Let's just quick move on to my man Jack in Northern Ireland. How's everything going on? And
it's all right, Donald. Last but not least.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
I'm just Jack White. Like what?
The greatest banjo player ever, right there, ladies and gentlemen.
The greatest shitty banjo player ever. That's
weaponized banjo.
I love the banjo. People in my family play it here in Appalachia. It's a beautiful instrument.
It is. It really is. And it wasn't invented by the Africans. Let me just put that out there.
Yeah, certainly not.
I'm just Jack White. I just record shitty demos into my phone, and I love my subs. I have the best subs. So that's all there is really to say. Like,
and one of the
Happy
pillar
Christmas,
members
everybody.
Doing good. One of the pillar members of the White Art Collective right there, Jack White, as well. So let me, I know that Yiz has got some Christmas parties to go to. She's extremely popular. So we want to start off with her real quick. What were some of your highlights for 2023? And how about what are your thoughts about 2024?
Well, 2023 has been a good year for me. I've done really well with Discordant Dragons. I met a guy who's been a follower of mine for maybe 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
And I found out that he is an expert at audio video creation, and he donated a couple hundred hours of his professional work to make a really beautiful intro for my Discordant Dragons. And he made a lot of beautiful question cards and other graphics for my mainstream Discordant Dragons.
Yeah.
That was great. He does fantastic work, and he's now working with some other people that I've met. So he's been a godsend. It's been great working with him this year.
Yeah.
I've got to network and meet some other people that I've been wanting to network with a while. I unfortunately lost Olivia Key as a co-host because she's got life stuff going on right now. But I met a great co-host, the guy that I do my Empire of Lies stream with. His name's Chris. He's from Australia, but he lives outside of London. Okay. And he's like Johnny on the spot with all of the academic-tism. Like he remembers books, and he's read hundreds and hundreds of books on Marxism and cultural Marxism and all this other stuff. Yeah. And so he's really good at picking books and papers and things of the last 100 years to focus on and do really interesting short form content in short hour-long streams where we will take a little facet of our cursed cultural history and sort of elaborate on how this is part of the anti-white tyranny being done to us today. And we'll just focus on that episodically. And that's been going great. I get to go on his stream sometimes over on Rumble. And it's been a really good year for me networking and meeting quality people that are doing good work. And I'm very thankful for that. I've had good personal stuff in my life, good family member stuff. I've got 2 new nieces and nephews. My family in Appalachia is very virile and fecund. And they've been having lots and lots of children the last few years, which is very good because we need more of white babies. So it's just been a good uplifting year despite the tyranny and the other problems. Yeah. And for 2024, I hope that my channel grows and doubles in number. It's been on the uptick for the last several months. I've been actually growing again because I haven't for years since YouTube put the boot on everybody's neck, and then the Twitter thing happened and all that. So it's nice to be actually growing again and reaching new people. And it's just everything's going really well. I'm meeting nice people. I got good friends like yourself and the dozens of other people that I've met. I'm thankful for the White Art Collective and the other pro-white people that I've met that have just helped me network and wrap my head around horrible things that are being done to us. And I'm really thankful. And I hope that 2024 is just more growth, more positivity, more good family stuff. And I hope and pray that we will be able to take back our destiny and have a future worth living. And I hope that I live long enough to see that at least start. So
absolutely.
I'm hopeful and I feel good about things, and I hope that 2024 is even better.
You are a force of nature. We're very grateful to have you because of all the things. I love your morning walk shows that you do as well. And I'm really strongly urging people in the audience to look up Yiz and find her shows, get involved in the community. It's so much fun. And you got the whole range of like goofy fun and like really interesting, deep political, cultural.
I try to do a mix of things. I like to entertain people, like to make people laugh because Lord knows there's enough things to be mad about and cry about today. Yeah, so I try to make a fun, sort of positive, I wouldn't say upbeat, but like positive, hopeful energy to my channel, even though we talk about a lot of dark, horrible things. Yeah. And I try to make it funny sometimes too. So I'm glad that you appreciate the work I do. It's the main thing I do now. Like this is what I do for a living, basically. So half my life is devoted to doing networking and streams. And I do Substack as well. I write articles when I can about whatever's on my mind. And I'm glad to be connected to people like yourself. And like I said, the many other people that I've met and that I work with. So I'm thankful and I'm hopeful for more. So I guess I'll leave it off there.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I know you got a party to get to, and I've got some people in the waiting room as well.
Sure. So, would you like me to depart now to make room for others?
I hate to see you go, but it's That's the way it is. Anyway, there's great things coming down the pipeline, and we'll be collaborating and working together in 2024 for more pro-white.
And you'll definitely be back on Discordant Dragons in the next few weeks. So I'm sure
100%.
my friends and followers will see you again soon.
I'd love to do it once a month if you've got
Certainly.
space.
And Nullis and the rest of you, if you ever want to be on my Discordant Dragons fun stream, you're more than welcome to. Just shoot me a message. And
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And John, nice to meet you. And Mark, I'm not familiar with you, but nice to meet you as well. Jack, good to talk to you again. And Nullis, always a treat, my friend.
Likewise.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Have a great night.
Good night, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. So I am going to quickly bring on my friend CG. Whoa, CG is here. Radio Ruin. What's shaking, CG? Let's give a quick intro. Talk about your show on Radio Ruin with Dirty D.
Yeah, Radio Ruin is a collaborative project started by Dirty D. He does a movie night shit show, variety show on Sundays. The flagship show is a collaborative effort between mainly me and Alex, but he also contributes along with a sometimes contributing member, Der Viking. We specialize in analyzing geopolitics, conflict, especially with the focus in the war in Ukraine, and elaborating on the Ukrainian nationalist scene and the history related to their struggle in preserving their country. And also looking more into the metapolitical ideas developing out of Eastern Europe. Recently, last show we had a member of Azov, Swedish volunteer, who wrote Foreigner Group on the show. That was probably our best interview we had.
Wow.
Just a lot of veterans. Well, between me, D, and Careless. 3 veterans just talking about our experiences in the military. Really, it was a good time.
Yeah.
A lot of power, a lot of good ideas coming out, a lot of verification. Again, what we've been putting on the show, and that's kind of it in a nutshell, I guess.
Marvelous. So CG is one of my patrons, but he's also been on my show. We did, I think maybe my favorite show with you is Fourth Generation Warfare and what that's all about, because you bring a military perspective, which I think is an important, maybe a niche that's lacking in our movement. We have so many different people with so many different knowledge bases, if you will. And so I just think you bring something nice to the table. It's quite
I had a friend over recently, and I was waxing philosophical on the smoke deck with him about 3 classes of people. There was the philosophers, engineers, and technicians. Philosophers answer the why, the engineers answer the what, and the technicians answer the how-to.
Wow.
My approach is more the how-to do things, I guess. It's just my background in most things in my life. But that's kind of what that show you're talking about, what we talked about was the how-to do these things, at least from an academic historical point of view, because we really focused on the War of the Flea, and that was a really I think this should be recommended reading. A lot of people recommend Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals and stuff, but understanding a better context of history and struggle against state forces through asymmetrical means, whether it's just protesting and stuff like that, is something that we should understand better. Some people, I obviously these things, attract some attention from some people. Again, not the people in suits, obviously, but
not the good attention.
Some people, tend to take on a bit.
Well, it's I mean, we're no strangers to hot topics here in the
obviously,
right? Or the in the far right, or whatever we want to call ourselves now. Well, let me switch over to John Fassbender. So John is a new musical talent in the White Art Collective, or the White Art community, and this is kind of his debut of some music. Maybe John, you can kind of set it up for us. Tell us a little bit about. Well, let me first say that Michael Bublé, it's time to step aside because John Fassbender is here. This is the new crooner on the scene. Watch out, ladies. If you could just set up the song a little bit for us, John.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, the song that I ended up doing for this stream was, or rather is, Wooden Heart, which was covered by Elvis. It is a German song, a German folk song from the 1800s. And most people aren't aware of that. Those who know the song only know it from Elvis. Most people don't know it at all. It is sung both in English and in German. Not necessarily a Christmas song, but I'd say any crooner classics could be getting people into the zone for crooning. So, and in the spirit, I think it's good, wholesome music. That's my personal opinion. But yes, I'm brand new at this whole singing thing. So we'll see. Hopefully the reception is decent.
Brilliant. And yeah, I know I'm praying to the technology gods that this comes across. Okay. But tell me, this looks like a CD. Did you put out a whole CD?
No, not yet. And it's not, again, given my my vintage sort of aesthetic, that also includes technological experience. So if there's any delay for anyone in the audience or for any of you, forgive me, but I am a silent Jenner and the body of a Zoomer. That being said, what I'm planning to do with this is to release a physical album on vinyl, which I've been looking into now. There's some so that right there, that would be a vinyl cover, which is why it's the shape that it is and kind of formatted the way that it is. It's obviously in the Art Deco style. I want to give a shout out to my graphics artist, who and the AFP graphic artist who does phenomenal work. He is the only reason I'm even able to appear, because he fixed my computer beforehand. It was having problems, and he also went ahead and created this cover incorporating both the American Freedom Party fasces, which you can see behind me, as well as some Art Deco feel, and of course me. So I think it turned out really good. I think he did amazing work.
Really nicely done. Jayla Dark is one of our great graphic designers, and I think she'd like it. I actually thought maybe she did this because it just has a certain quality to it. It's quite cool. All right, so if you guys want to put yourself on mute, and then we're going to kick it off here, ladies and gentlemen. John Fassbender. Well, the audio is not coming through, so I'm going to have to figure this out for a second here. Maybe if, John, you want to talk just a bit about, how you got into, or why you're getting into crooning, and what's the connection between that and white positive culture, while I try to figure out the audio issue.
My pleasure. I'm more than happy to. And I want to say too, once after this stream is concluded, I'm going to go ahead and post the song in its entirety on my Telegram channel. I refrained from doing so up to this point because I haven't been ready to announce it. And I'm recording on less than professional equipment, so it is what it is. But yes, as far as how I got into this, I've always been into sort of the vintage vibes. That is to say, in my fashion, in my interests, both musical, in films, and so on. I actually used to be a World War II reenactor back in the day, which was a great time. I really enjoyed it. I've always been into antiques. In fact, recently I acquired a record player, a Victrola from 1906. And I'm able to play some old Edison records on it. It's a great time for me. That is, most people aren't into that, but I think it's cool. And as far as what made me decide I wanted to start doing it, honestly, I can't say what exactly it was, but I can say that music is a an incredibly powerful thing, and it can invoke emotions which generally can't be felt. And because of that, I think in hearing some of these great crooning artists, it compelled me to go ahead and try and give it a shot. And that being said, I showed it to a few people because I am a firm believer that one cannot judge their own singing capabilities. I think we've seen on a few different instances of, sometimes in popular media, they've got America's Got Talent and all these other Got Talents. You see people who claim that they are the best singers in the world and are absolutely horrendous and ear-piercingly bad. So because of that, I wanted to check with others to ensure that that wasn't the case for me. And I can confidently say that I wasn't that bad. So therefore, I decided if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it in the interest of white art.
Awesome sauce. All right, I have figured it out. So if gentlemen, you will mute yourselves, we'll get rolling with this. Let me do the mute myself as well.
Can't you see I love you? Please don't break my heart in two. That's not hard to do, 'cause I don't have a wooden heart. And if you say goodbye, then I know that I would cry. Maybe I would die, 'cause I don't have a wooden heart. There's no strings upon this love of mine. It was always you from the start. Treat me nice, treat
Cobb's
For
check
those
earlier
wondering,
in the water.
Donald disappeared into the void, so I'm assuming he will
I just
return
noticed.
shortly.
Well, let's
That's
see. I don't know
okay.
if we're
Let's
still
leave that
online.
there, folks.
John, that was your voice, though?
It was correct.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It was really good.
Pretty
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
You can sing. You can really sing, like from a singer.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate all the kind words. I've never done it before, especially not publicly. So this is the first time, and I'm happy to hear the reception is well received.
Oh, it's fantastic. And
please, Nollis.
I'm just saying, next time, you have to sing it in German, of course, right?
Well, believe it or not, there is. I think it cut out prior to that part, but there is a half of it is in German.
It is.
So
awesome.
Yes, and once that part comes up, if Donald comes back and saves us, then you'll hear it. But if not, don't worry, you'll be able to check it out on my channel, or I'm sure I can send it to Donald. He can forward it over to you.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I guess what I'll do is I'll just take a little bit. I'll take Donald's show over for the moment, and let's talk about. So, John, we talked with you about the music, the song.
Nellis,
yes.
One question: is it on Donald's end that this is being recorded?
I believe so, but I'm looking at the website, the YouTube channel. It looks like we're still live.
Oh, we're live. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me just double check with the audience. So, audience, are we live or are we Memorex? Let's just make sure to see if he's. Oh, anyone come back? No. Let me just see if I can get hold of Donald really quickly on various platforms. I'm going to send him a message. What's up, Doc?
Can't believe you went AWOL on us. Can't believe it.
You know, this is what happens.
Unbelievable.
Catastrophe. All right. So let's.
Was too much.
I think that's what happened. Maybe just Donald couldn't listen to it anymore, and he said, "Okay, I give up."
I have that effect on people. Yeah, I have that effect on people often.
That's exactly what happened.
Well, the audio cutting out added to the sort of old-timey feel of the song.
Exactly.
That's you know what? It's funny you say that because that's what I said before I started when I was talking to my graphics guy. I was like, well, if it's really bad and the audio just doesn't work, I mean, it can be passed off as being like that's part of the vibe. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Oh, we got
Bro, you literally killed Donald. You literally killed Donald.
I got Donald here in the chat. It says, I'm going to come back and see if I can finish the show. But you guys, I would have to wait. So anyway, we're doing all right without you, Donald. Fine.
Yeah, bring another guest in, and then he can't come in.
Else.
That's funny.
I don't even know if we could do that. I don't think so. But we might. Oh, this is terrible. But we might have to log out and come back in again. I'm not so sure. So I'll wait for if any one of you gets a message from Donald, or if I do it, then we'll take it from there. But for the moment, so John, what motivated you to sing this song?
Well, this particular song, of all things, was recommended to me by a family friend, who has generally heard the sort of music that I listen to and said, I think you'd be good, singing this. And I was very doubtful, but I gave it a shot. And generally speaking, when I reheard it, oh my goodness, Donald's back. But when I heard it, I thought it didn't sound all that bad. So I was like, if that's the case, I'm going to try other crooning songs. And I did a few, and they were liked generally by the people who I spoke with in my family and close friends, both in and without of the movement. And so I decided to continue.
Well, guys. Donald, welcome back.
Yeah, golly gee.
Well, welcome back to my show now.
Yeah, this is the Nullist Christmas special, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me on. My name is Donald Kent, and I have computer.
Well, given that I'm the one that kicked you off, I think I have staked claim to this.
Technically, yes, you son of a gun. No. Hey, applause to you, John, and Nullist for carrying the torch, so to speak, while I got back online. Sorry that my computer is just not smart enough to handle all this media, and all this greatness all at once, apparently. But anyway, I want to thank you, John. It seems like the audience loved it. I think this is really unique. You're filling an interesting niche here with this kind of, old time music that's so marvelous and it's so pure. It brings us back to our roots in so many ways. I've got some people in the waiting in to come on the show, so I'm going to let you go, and we'll be bringing on Jack. All right, it's once again great to have you on, and looking forward to seeing more music from you.
Yeah, John, song sounded great.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
it's a good song.
Absolutely, right. John. Thank you for being on, and thank you for being on my show, John.
Of course, it's my pleasure, Noel. Anytime. And Donald, it was great to have you on as a guest for Nullist. But no, it's a pleasure, everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Yule to everyone.
Christmas, buddy.
And please
Merry
take
Christmas.
care.
All right, cheers.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing on Jack McCracken from Justice Report. Jack, you're on mute right now, real quick. Just so happy to have you on the show. I was just on the Justice Report Christmas show a couple days ago. How are you doing today, Jack?
Hey, I'm doing well. Merry Christmas, everyone. Don, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. Having fun already.
Awesome.
Thanks for showing up on our show too. Really appreciate it. And we're trying to kind of spread awareness of the the website. And hopefully we're doing good stuff. I know you are. I see your updates all the time on Telegram. Always
Brilliant.
entertaining. So really appreciate it.
Sure. So give the audience some sense of what you do with Justice Report. Want to make sure that everybody's on the same page and they're all informed.
Sure. For those who don't know, Justice Report is a news aggregator. It originally started off kind of channeling the Drudge Report in a way, where we would take news from other websites and aggregate them in a way that you can connect to different news articles without having to jump all over the internet to find them. And it was, of course, pertaining to pro-white audiences mostly. But we've grown since then. And ever since the beginning, now what we do is we have exclusive reports. We cover stories of crime, of economics, of politics, international news, things like that. And about 3 months ago, we really starting to triple down on it. So the amount of exclusive articles we've hosted on this site has definitely gone up. So going into 2024, we want to build up on that momentum. We want to outreach to other groups. If there's something that somebody wants to promote or let us know about that we can help you cover or raise awareness of, we're always willing to talk about it. Yeah. And we're just a news site. We want to help out everyone. Who knows a lot of different groups out there that could use us, and we'd be more than happy to help.
Yeah. Who was on your Christmas special? You had a 3-day Christmas special. What were some of the guests?
We did. Who did we have? We had a Borzoi, Borzoi Boscovich. We had Warren Baylog and his father Alan.
Yeah.
My co-host Jacob, who runs the site, he was on there as well. Don, you were on. We had people of the White Art Collective. We had some of the people behind Antelope Hill. They made a presentation on their books. We had a scattering of different people. Our original guest lineup looked a little bit different, but there were some schedule delays and things like that. And we had to
Warren Balo made a really, really strong point about your website, about what a critical function you have in this whole movement, because anti-white violence is so extreme and ubiquitous. There's so much of it, but the mainstream news media won't cover it. And so people are unaware that we're literally in a race war, or we've been in a race war against us for a long time. And there's just unimaginable things that are happening, and every day it's like a faucet of terrible, not just, of course, violence, but any kind of legal actions and various things that are done to disenfranchise whites. So the fact that you're putting that information out there, even though it's hard to look at, is so very essential. And I think it's something that everybody who's watching my channel, the community, the broader community, we all need to be pushing that information out into the mainstream as much as possible. Again, it's hard for the common person to look at this, but they have to understand that this is a really serious issue, that we wouldn't be doing what we're doing if this wasn't happening. So we're very grateful.
Right. Yeah, no, of course. It is tough to read. Sometimes it can be, over time, a little bit blackpilling, as they say.
Yeah.
But it is important to chronicle a lot of victims of non-white violence.
Yeah.
At most they'll get a local news mention, and then it dies there. It stays there. No one cares about it. So what we try to do is we try to take that story, breathe new life into it, spread awareness, and then use other data to make our point that, it's unfortunate, but white people are under attack in this country. And here's the statistics that show. So here are other stories which prove that. And we stick to our journalistic roots, and we're it's try to be as objective as possible here. It's not pointed, it's not nasty, it's just the facts.
That's the thing. Journalism shouldn't be opinionated. It should just be the facts, right? So excellent. Thanks so much for the work you do. So I'm going to move around a little bit, and I think I'm going to pass the mic to my mighty Irish friend, Jack White. Tell us, what were some of the highlights of 2024 for you, And what are some of your Christmas plans, and then what do you have in mind for 2024? What are your thoughts on 2024? A lot going down in Ireland right now. It's kind of maybe the flashpoint of the revolution,
Yeah.
if you will. So, what are your thoughts? But maybe start off with like your highlights from this year.
It's hard to pick out. There's been a lot of highlights since really I was so black-pilled in like 2020.
Yeah.
And
Big time.
so much has changed in the last couple of years. There's been a it almost feels like the tide is sort of turning. Like it's gotten so bad that things are really starting to affect normal people to the extent that they're willing to make a stand maybe. And you can see this Republic of Ireland right now, like they burned that hotel down where this was unthinkable, like a couple of years ago when we were all really black-pilled, and we you worried if your Twitter was going to get banned, or your YouTube was going to get banned. But it's really filtering into there's been a lot of white pills. I mean, I don't want to go into the Russian, the Ukraine war, but I mean that's obviously a big geopolitical sort of shift that the US is increasingly looking weak.
Yes.
And you can talk about the war in Gaza, the
major events. Yeah.
Yeah,
everything's changing. I mean, I think 2024 is where the rubber hits the road. I feel like this is it. So that's part of why I feel like our community has to really come together and be really strong. But I'm hearing you loud and clear.
I don't necessarily think it's necessarily in our hands. It's like fate is like just sort of running its course. Like we can do what we can on Twitter. We can like spread the message and everything, and that's really all we can do. And it is spreading. Like but geopolitical events are also just happen like beyond our control, and they're going to shape what is to come. And a lot of normal people are just starting to get very angry about the direction of the way in which the world is going. And I hope they identify like sort of who's behind all this, and start to fight back basically. And I think they are, and you can see that on Twitter, and that's a white pill. You can I think one of the most major white pills was Elon really buying Twitter, because now you can go on Twitter and you can see sort of like Conor McGregor, and these people are not on our side or anything, and like don't get me wrong, but the sort of the flow of information is moving in our direction. Like that is to say the truth. It's not like an ideology. This is it's literally factual, the situation.
Yeah, awesome. Wow. I'm feeling it too now. You and I are very much in touch, and we kind of share a lot of thoughts and things going on inside the movement, outside the movement. So, but I want to say, like, I've always admired how you're just all about the raw truth. Like you just have a very, very strong moral compass, I think, and also an aesthetic compass. Your music is really powerful and inspiring. I recently shared your episode on Imperium Art in to you, and it's just so wonderful and charming to go back and relive that episode and enjoy your music. But it's pretty wild to see what we're going through, where we were and where we are. Any thoughts about next year and where we might be in a year from now?
Yeah, I mean, thank you, like, for sharing that. Like, I didn't want to like that, because I think we've traveled so much road since then. Like I
Mm.
probably sounded really naive back then, when I got into all of this, and
Mm.
a lot of road has been traveled, but I think a lot more road will be traveled. Like hopefully in the years to come.
There's the
Because
concept for your
I think this cause is really inevitable. It must be, or it's over. Like everything is over, so it has to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're not the
That's
only one who sees that. I mean, I'm hearing that echoed from many, many areas. Even people way outside of our movement, they can see that Western governments are over the people, and it's all theater, and we'll see kind of how it plays out. So, any music coming down the line for next year? You're gonna write a song about the road traveled?
Yeah, I hope so. Like I'm pretty busy, like with work. I wish I had more time for music. I really do. Like if this was my job, like I'd be releasing more albums and everything. But you know how it is. Like it's a part-time job. It's like
Yeah, we're all.
it's like a double. It's like a double life. It's
It
like.
really is. It really is, yeah.
It really is. I mean, I remember like Spencer back in the day was saying you'll be like a double agent or whatever, and it's like you really are, and you become that. You almost become this kind of double agent, like where you have this normal life, and then you're like, and then you get on Twitter, and you're like fighting everybody, and it's like, okay.
It's pretty
But
wild. I feel like I'm more my internet avatar than I am who I used to
I don't know who I am anymore. I honestly don't. Like I'm like literally two people. Like literally.
Yeah, we all are in some way. I mean, you have your virtual self. Even if you're not in the movement, it's a thing that exists. Well,
but anyway, let me say this. Like I am pretty white pilled. Like I think things are moving in a good direction, and I hope they continue to move in this good direction. Like maybe we don't have full free speech, but like the more we do, I'm thankful, and I think it's good, and I wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Marvelous.
And
yes,
thank you for having me on this show.
Yeah, my
and I'll
man.
speak to you tomorrow anyway. So
I know. We'll be back on Telegram chatting away.
So
all right, brother.
I'm gonna make my space for somebody else. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Nice to meet you all. Love you all.
Yes.
Have a great Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, my man. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Yes,
See
bye-bye.
you soon.
So let me move on over to Nullis. I haven't. Thanks for carrying the torch while I was in computer crash land. That was very kind of you. I know you've got. You're very savvy with these things. So
I don't know about savvy, but kind of fake it till you make it. I guess.
oh,
Right.
there you go. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good philosophy. So let's talk about this year. What are your highlights from this year, and what are you looking at for 2024?
I mean, 2023 was relatively uneventful. It was an uneventful year for me in terms of creative output. Because I had to focus on a number of personal obligations, and it took longer than I initially anticipated. So I started, but all that being said, I started working on a play that I've been developing for a few decades already. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But it's I think now's the time that I can complete this particular play. This is a play that it's in my mind. I've written it down. I've have the whole thing. I don't have it. I don't have the play isn't complete, but it's all in my head, if that makes any sense. And I have notes on it all over the place. Suffice it to say, I've always waited for that moment that this play would become relevant. And I think now is the time. So I really want to focus on it if I can. But of course, I'm always plagued with 1,000,001 distractions, and I'm not complaining about it. It's just the way it is. And so I'm trying to work on that while meeting my other obligations.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way this past year has been. And of course, that play is also taking a lot more time than I expected. But right now, for the moment at least, I'm just, generic online reply guy, low energy reposter, and all around just a cultural dilettante for the moment, you know.
Ooh, okay.
But
Well, tell us a little bit about this play. Now, we talked about it before, and you're talking about sort of like a radio play that would have like sound effects.
oh no, this is different. This one is
a stage play.
This is a regular formal stage play, and there's a Hungarian play. It's called The Tragedy of Man, and Lucifer escorts, or I'm sorry, he doesn't escort. Lucifer introduces Adam and Eve throughout various epochs in history, and it's a famous Hungarian play. And so I sort of want to tip my hat to that, and also to Dante's Inferno a little bit. And so I'm weaving in these elements, but I mean, obviously,
I sound like Dante. Sorry.
it is a similar. Yeah, there's a lot of similarity with Dante. Yeah. So I'm kind of introducing, the play itself has that vibe, if you will, if that's the word you want. I guess I could use for this, and it's about a critique of contemporary society. It's also, asking some important questions on the soul and our purpose as humanity. So it's more of a universal play as opposed to any kind of a specific. But then again, the important part about it is, and these important elements that we talk about all the time, through either an Imperium art or in any one of a number of shows. Those all come out in the details when you're writing out the play, and that's where you can really incorporate these elements and these symbolisms, I think. So I'm going to be working on that, and then we'll see, how it goes. I don't want to reveal too much about that, but I do want to make a note, and I want to say that I just wanted to thank everyone who's been supporting me in my work by subscribing and staying on my various online platforms, because I really have not been very active. I mean, I've posted stuff and what have you. I've written a poem here and there, or I read a poem or shared a translation. But
you've been mentioning that you'd like to bring back Conversations with the Wind. That was your poetry cast on the White Art Collective. How's that shaping up?
Well, that's the same situation. So it's currently, for the record, Conversations with the Wind was a poetry cast, or a poetry podcast that was on for 3 seasons. And Donald, you were the co-host, the Ed McMahon, right?
Yeah, right.
And we had a wonderful time introducing a number of different topics, cultural and literary topics. Great guests, excellent guests throughout, and excellent poets submitted their work.
The Irish poetry show was my favorite. Of course, Jack White was on the show. I forget the other guests, but that was very moving. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was a fantastic show. And the one I liked quite a bit was the last show that I had, which was the German literature. And that I think was a really good one. That kind of came full circle in terms of at least the production value of the show.
So let me just say to the audience objectively that Nullis, his show, it fits a certain niche. Obviously, there's no poetry shows out there, and poetry is a gigantic part of our people, our history, our culture, and it's kind of relegated maybe more towards the past. Maybe we think of poetry now as like some kind of hipster thing or something, and it just sort of faded out of the popular culture. So what he's doing has so much value in that regard, and he does a huge amount of research. You don't just go on the show and read off some poems. You have this whole production value to what you do. Very selective guests. There's all this kind of historical context that you bring to it. These shows are pure gold. So I really recommend people search Conversations with the Wind with Nullis on YouTube. There's just so many wonderful shows that you guys can enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, it's on my YouTube channel. It's under Conversations with the Wind Archives. I have season 1, 2, and 3. A few episodes. I had to take out a few episodes for various reasons, but the vast majority of the episodes are there. And basically what I did was I focused on one particular topic, whether that was a cultural or a literary topic. and I kind of went into, we did a deep dive in that.
Mhm.
I think with Jim Bonner, we did an excellent episode on Americana. I
Mhm.
highly recommend that episode as well. That was
Oh
a
my God.
fantastic episode.
Yeah.
And what I do is I introduce it with sort of I provided context to it in the beginning. Then in the second segment, I share a few poems that are as relevant to the theme as possible. And these poems are mostly submitted by everyone out there, poets out in our spheres. But if I don't get enough, or if I don't get any poems, then I'll just find poems and I'll read them myself. And then in the last part is we have the conversation segment. That's where the conversation with the wind happens.
That's where we all swear like sailors. Well, I don't know. Maybe if the show could be, I don't know, down to like an hour or something, it might be more doable.
Well,
I really hope that you can bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, I've been considering changing the format, but I'm unsure of it. Maybe after 3 seasons, I think the audience craves 3-hour marathon episodes on obscure literary themes.
People love that stuff. Chicks really dig that too, by the way. All right, cool beans. So I don't have anyone in the waiting room yet. So neither you guys don't have to go. There's no real rush or anything. But I want to pass the mic on over to Mark Brahman and get the full what's the scoop here on what you've done. It sounds very exciting based on things that you were just talking about earlier. Maybe you can expand on what you've accomplished this year, and then give us some teasers for the coming year.
Yeah. So I guess just to recap, we opened Alexandria U, Richard Spencer and I, and Alex U for short. We're teaching REM theory. I mean, that's especially what we're doing. So in REM theory, that will be the title of a book that's forthcoming. It's a long-awaited book. Really, the challenge was what to include, because once you sort of follow the theory or you understand the theory, there are all these sort of little red threads you can start pulling on, or rabbit holes you can go down. I guess it's a more familiar metaphor, but I think we're satisfied now with what the first book includes, which gives an overview of the theory, and also gives examples, of course, so proofs of the theory. I mean, it's pretty exciting stuff. I have to admit. But aside from that, I've been working on some creative projects, applying REM theory, in works of art. In REM theory, again, is racial esoteric moralization, using a conversant knowledge of a universal symbol language to embed works of art with an ethnic subtext, essentially. So in that, those creative works I'm doing under a different name, under a pseudonym. Well, Mark Brahman, of course, is a pseudonym, but a different pseudonym. Unrelated to the controversial Mark Brahman. And in fact, I'm doing some creative commercial work, in fact, with Donald Kent. So that's
lovely.
It's one of the ways in which Donald and I know each other, is that we've collaborated on some art projects. But they're narrative in nature, so it's parables, telling stories, which I think is a really kind of important, form of art. But that's basically it. I mean,
Yeah, awesome. I guess I have a question in terms of like, what is the desired outcome for changes in the broader culture from this university? What do you hope, let's say, 5-10 years from now, when this project gets off the ground and gets integrated into the broader culture, what will be different?
Well, so the first goal is to introduce the theory and to, and through our arguments, convince people of the validity of the theory. And then, hopefully it will gain acceptance among some tier or strata of society, and hopefully it'll inspire artists, for example. It will inspire other academics because it opens up a whole field, a whole new sort of field of academia, and in a new sort of lens through which to look at contemporary arts and also ancient art and also biblical analysis. It opens up a whole new view of biblical analysis. So hopefully it will inspire both. So it'll inspire academic study to further the corroboration of the thesis, and also art. So the production of REM, or from the Aryan perspective, we will call it AIM. So Aryan intermoralization. And a kind of play on words there as well, because art is given an aim, it's given a purpose, right?
Right.
That is Aryan moralization, essentially, or esoteric Aryan moralization. But yeah, I mean, it's I think what's key is that it's basically, as I alluded to or described earlier in the broadcast, is that this is something that Jews are doing already in Hollywood. Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that we demonstrate in the book. So, I mean, people are very aware of the kind of more explicit ways they're seeking to demoralize white people. And we can think of many examples, right? Whether it's promoting interracial relations or promoting transsexualism or homosexuality or whatever the case may be. But those are kind of late stage explicit manifestations of demoralization that are explicit in manifestation. That doesn't mean that there isn't also an esoteric component there. Very often there is also an esoteric component there as well. But in the sort of earlier stages of this process or phenomena, it's those more subversive themes are concealed or hidden, made esoteric, essentially, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and that also is a kind of another goal of this school of thought, or this is so that we develop Roman interpretation, or interpretado Romana. Now, I argue that REM theory is a kind of updated, probably a more kind of refined form of Roman interpretation that's that is taking a kind of a finer comb in some ways over the this kind of symbol language, as it were, but of course there's no way to know really how sophisticated or advanced Roman interpretation was in its origin. But in any case, you take my point. The goal is to also to give people the lens to read esoteric works so that they can understand the messaging of esoteric works, and especially the sort of ethnic intent of those works, right? So I guess you could say it's threefold. It's academic, it's to inspire artists, or even religion formers or myth makers, and it's also to create a general awareness or understanding of the phenomena, so that even the layman, even if he can't decipher these works in a kind of, he can't sort of perfectly understand them, he can sort of glean an upshot of what's being implied or what's being esoterically conveyed in a Jewish work of art, for example, right? So that, therefore he'll be able to assess whether it is a healthy or salubrious work of art, or something that's harmful that contains subversive messaging.
So this is a really essential topic for people in the white art community. I think most artists are aware of it per se, but I don't think that anyone has taken the discussion anywhere near as far as you have. And one of my favorite shows is the Unconscious Cinema with you and Richard Spencer. I really wish you guys would bring that show back. That is such a great show.
We have that. So all those shows, and I think that this is something that, because we've been growing on Substack,
Okay.
And I think that part of Richard's desire is to kind of keep a low profile, or at least for the time being.
Okay.
But I think that as things open up, which they have been opening up, thanks largely to Elon Musk. I mean, let's face it, he's sort of a kind of one-man hero as far as free speech goes. Now, of course, it's imperfect, right? And there's still NGP is still banned. Nick Fuentes and others are still, but even guys like Jerry Taylor, who
I was just going to mention, David Duke,
but so but I think he's nevertheless created stronger sort of free speech conditions, even if imperfectly, right? And again, he's excluding people that he shouldn't be excluding, but I think that the conditions are better now in terms of free speech. Now, how stable they are, who knows, right? Because theoretically, his company could go belly up, right? And it seems like that would be more likely than him folding to pressure, because it seems like he's a kind of defiant, as a sort of eccentric type who's willing to just, weather the slings and arrows of his adversaries, right? But I think that we can be optimistic in a kind of guarded way. But we've resumed. So that show, Unconscious Cinema, we're basically doing Unconscious Cinema now. We just finished this series on Kubrick, but and then we also have a kind of more general show on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Sundays and sometimes Saturdays we'll have more shows as well.
Awesome sauce. Well, this is so great. It's so great to have you on. I'm so glad we're kind of reconnecting here. Like I said, anything I can do in the future to help promote the university, I would love to use my channel for that. I do have 2 other guests in the waiting room, so I'll say good night and Merry Christmas to Nullis and Mark, and then I'm going to be bringing on Frody Midjord and Spencer Quinn. Gents, thank you so much. I'm wishing you both a very, very Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to everyone, and Happy New Year. Thank you very much again, Don.
Marvelous.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Donald, and we'll be in touch. All right?
Looking good. Yeah, I can't wait.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, bye-bye. All righty. And so we're going to pass the mic in a second here to actually imminent rain, but let me bring our guests on real quick here. We'll say hello to Spencer Quinn and Frody Midjord. Thank you so much for you guys coming. Frody, what time is it right now where you are?
Well, it's in the middle of the night, so it's basically, let me just check the time here. It's 2:00. I had the days mixed up, so I'm sorry that I didn't notice your message. I've been invited to a few of these sort of Christmas streams, and I had the days mixed up. So, but I'm here now.
It happens. Hey, when you're famous and everybody loves you, then you get overwhelmed sometimes, right? All right, let me say a quick hello to Spencer J. Quinn, the author at large, author associated with the Countercurrents. I've worked with him illustrating some of his work, close personal friend. How are you, Spencer?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for inviting me to this. I may not have a whole lot of time, but I realized I did have a little bit of time, so I thought I'd peek in.
All right. Well, it looks like your camera's on. I don't quite know what the score is over there, but maybe since you don't have a lot of time, you could give us a quick rundown of your highlights for 2024 and 2023, and any announcements.
I mean, 2023. We had it started with a bang because the No College Club got published.
That's the book I illustrated. Yeah.
That's the book that you so masterfully illustrated. I still look at it and marvel at it. It's wonderful.
Could you speak a little closer to your microphone?
Is this better?
Much better. Thank you, sir.
So, so it was excellent. And it was a very, very exciting time for me, getting the book out. And then, it was business as usual with Countercurrents, and doing the occasional Occidental Observer piece as well. And one of the big highlights was the Forced War. I went through that before I was even aware that the Institute of Historical Review was actually publishing the latest version of it this year. I didn't know that, so because I had the PDF and it was just sitting around. I was like, all right, I might as well get to it. So I started reading it. Then they told me, oh no, there's going to be a new one coming out. And I'm like, great. So I went ahead and reviewed it and submitted it to Kevin, and it turned out really well. That's a huge book too. I am probably about halfway through writing the first draft of No College Club Part 2.
Okay. And is that on White People Press or on Countercurrents now?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
That's right. Okay.
Soon to tell. I got to be a little cagey because, I'm not really 100% sure what's happening with White People Press at the moment. So, I don't know. But I will do everything I can to get it out there, hopefully by the end of next year.
Marvelous. So is that it? Is there any other things? Are you still writing articles for Countercurrents?
Yeah. Actually, I'll be right when I get off with you guys. I'll be writing one this evening. Yeah. I try to do one a week. It's getting harder to do that.
I was kidding about Donald Trump. Yeah. One a week. So what's this topic this week?
Well, there's a book published in 1976 called Carnival of Fury, and it's by a guy named Ivy Hare, and it's about Robert Charles, is this black dude from Louisiana, from New Orleans, who went on a rampage and killed a bunch of white people, a bunch of cops, and a few innocent like civilian whites as well. And this is a very interesting history because he sort of, I won't say he condones the mass murder, but he's really highlighting all the good qualities of this character. And it's very striking about how these left wingers will write this enemy nonfiction that will portray whites as being inherently guilty if the pro-white stance or support a pro-white civilization, and don't get me wrong, the pro-white civilizations can make mistakes and do bad things, and there are innocent people who can be harmed by that. In the balance, it's probably better that way. But that being said, he does sort of he overdoes it, I think, with the sympathy for this guy, and I'm prepared to zing him for it.
Wow. I'm excited to see what you can do. Your work is very, very quality. I've had Spencer on my show as well. So if people want to dig back into this channel, we did a discussion on Charity's Blade, a science fiction book that he wrote. We did another interview on Solzhenitsyn, which was phenomenal. Just incredible. You're such a great resource for our people, our movement, and all of this stuff. So I'm just super happy to be working with you. I'm really the lucky one to be working with you. So I get to kind of I get to ride your coattails to fame.
Please. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words very much.
Awesome. Well, we've got my buddy CG is it's really late where he is, so I'm gonna switch the mic over to him. If Spencer, if you got to go or whatever, I know you're very popular, so you do what you got to do. We're wishing you a very, very Merry Christmas.
I can hang for a little bit, guys.
All right, cool.
When I have to go, I'll know when I have to go.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. So, CG, how about you, man? You've been putting out lots of content. These shows, how often are these shows? Like, they're fairly frequent. You have like 2 or 3 a week.
It's hard to really put into words. I put in about 10 to 16 man hours a week doing prep and the show and everything else put together, doing the PowerPoint. If we have spontaneous shows with you or anyone else, that I kind of accumulate up to about 20 hours a week doing it unpaid, of course. But that's just on top of my normal duties and responsibilities is with work and family and stuff. But we put out a show every week, and it really just kind of tracks everything going on and trying to put everything into a context and seek stories of the struggle happening in the East right now, and correlating that with things we can learn from them. The original, for people new here in the chat and in this roundtable, the original intent of the project, just how I term it, was to seek a understanding of this first brother war that happened in 70 years. I'll get into the whole story with that because that's a long story. But over time, the idea that we could learn something from this struggle happening over there, and also the greater history that's been happening, the struggle in Ukraine, is something we could possibly apply over in the West. There's also been a vacuum of understanding a dialogue with what's been happening over there with their their own struggle for sovereignty and stuff like that.
Right.
Having an actuated idea of what they want to achieve politically is also something that I see that also is a more articulated position than we see in the West, other than both, don't get me wrong, both approaches are valid, but just simply articulating grievances isn't enough to achieve political power. Having an idea of how to do that, I've seen that political maturity happen much more in Eastern Europe than in the West or in the Great Anglosphere. This is just my own opinion, and seeing as how they've achieved growing influence within the military, the intelligence apparatus of the state, and several other successes, not just even related to the battlefield, but also politically and domestically in their own, how to put it, the public trust that they've been able to garner from their own people. I've seen that as a progress towards something that is worth mentioning and giving attention to in the West. I'm sorry if that kind of went off track there with what you're asking.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, it's such a ginormous topic. Obviously, there's a lot, and I think that, to my knowledge, anyway, there's so few people that I trust to give any kind of objective information about it. It just seems like a massive mess, specifically for the Ukrainian people. But is there any? I mean, how hopeful are you that the Ukrainian people will come out on top with this?
That is the $1 million question. I hate to give a hyperbole like that, but it really comes down to the forces of the battlefield. Lieutenant Colonel Prokopenko, who is in charge of the Azov Brigade right now, which has been reconstituted, has articulated that he believes this is going to be a long war, and this is a guy that's been fighting since 2013, 2014. I mean, I think he was originally in the Maidan. Interesting fact, he's actually not Ukrainian, he is Karelian, which is a diaspora of the Finnish population living in the Karelian Peninsula, which is northeast of St. Petersburg. So his struggle is also related to his own ethnic body. And interesting in my own, sorry, I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole here. There is actually a Karelian body of an ethnic body trying to emerge itself into some sort of political identity. There's a channel on there on Telegram somewhere. I have to find it again, but some very well articulated ideas of like ethno determinism and stuff like that that's coming out of this that particular identity. Really stuff I don't hear about in the West, though. It's amazing stuff. But as far as like their fortunes going to the battlefield right now, it's we all understand how the counteroffensive went. It was less than it was underwhelming, to say the least. But that was also due to a mixture of problems. People don't mind me going on a little bit here. The Western support was very lacking. I have a working theory, I believe, that most democracies are risk-averse actors. As much as we meme about belligerence in the West and stuff like that, though, most democracies are risk-averse actors. I think this has bear true with Biden because he is more worried about keeping power and maintaining the status quo. And part of the status quo is maintaining a semblance of the equation that he grew up with. If I could use anyway, I'm trying to use general terms to kind of give that idea to people. Part of that is, how does Russia fit in the world, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think the West, in this case, to support the sovereignty and to not have the diminishment of our race, as Ukrainians would be subject to another genocide. The future would be bleak if there is not enough will behind Western support. The will, the skill, the innovation, the longevity, I'm amazed at the fighting spirit of the Ukrainians. They fought a successful revolution, minor civil war, you can say, and then they've been fighting a war for nigh on 10 years at this point. And they're still in the fight. They're gaining ground some places, and Avdiivka, they've been kicking the teeth in of the Russians repeatedly. I mean, it's pretty common where we see close to 1,000 casualties on the Russian sides a day sometimes. But okay, I could feel the other side there whinging a little bit, but don't get me wrong. I'm also acknowledging the loss of life of white Russians, however.
We don't want any brother wars.
Exactly. That's the point, though. It's like, who broke that principle, though? That was Putin, and people can divvy up the idea of NATO expansion.
Right.
But it's a voluntary defensive organization in its base cause there.
I really feel like the topic is obviously so nuanced and deep that people just simply have to go to your show to get the full story on that. And I feel like also, since it's really late where Frody is, we should maybe we'll give him the mic for a bit here. Frody, Decameron, how was your film show this year? I tuned in for Dave Martell. It was really fun. He's always a blast. He's a good friend. I've done a lot of illustration work for him. What else is going on? How was your year, 2023?
Well, I think it's been an interesting year. I had a conference in the spring. We had a lot of good speakers. I have a weekly news show. And like you mentioned, the Decameron Film Festival, I think it was successful. We had a lot of great conversations. I mean, just like you, I'm interested in art and culture and films and so on. I sort of get bored from talking too much about politics and current events and so on. So I do enjoy talking about films, and we had a lot of good ones on this year. So I'm very happy with the year, personally.
Who were some of your guests? If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Who were some of your guests this year?
Just let me take a quick look at the schedule, because I don't have it all in my head right now. But
at 2 a.m. or 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. We had David Cole, Ty E. Michael Jones, Dave Martell, Robert Almgren from Sweden, Semigog, Mike from Imperium Press, Port Film Co-op, Geroid Murphy, Survive the Jive, Thomas 777, Mark Collette, Shambolix, Last Things, Jim Goad, Mark Weber, Alexander Adams, Vitgard, Greg Johnson, Brendan Hurd from Aureus Press, J.F. Garipi, The Longhouse, Duarte Branquino from Portugal, The Woodlander, Guido Taietti, Millennial Woes, and Morgoth. Those were all the guests. We had 29. I think that's 29 guests in total we had this year.
You could start a football team with that right there.
Yeah. No, it was a great lineup, and everyone picked very interesting films. I think we had a great variety of films. Some more artsy or sort of for the film nerds, some more mainstream things. We talked about Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992.
Love that.
We talked about The Road. We talked about River's Edge from 1986.
Oh my God, awesome!
Really sort of an 80s,
incredible
time capsule.
Crispin Glover is amazing in that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. So I mean, I enjoyed the year. It has been, uneventful in the sense that nothing. Well, of course, the Israel-Gaza war is, I guess, on the sort of political scene as the big thing. I guess the new thing. But then it was, of course, the continuation of the Ukraine-Russia war, and in Europe and in America, I think it's been mostly more of the same. No huge new event. It's been mostly a continuation of old events or old processes that we've seen. I think next year will be a bit more eventful, probably.
I'm feeling it too. I mean, I feel like there's everything's converging at the same time, and it just, it's funny because things get better and they get worse at the same time, and this bizarre synergy is it's all looking to kind of explode in some way. And I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I am hopeful, and I feel a lot of people are sending out kind of positive vibes on this, that there's a lot of, we recognize the truth, we recognize what's at stake and such, but there's enough information there, because our people we don't lie to ourselves. That's what we're all about. We can't live a lie like everybody else, like the normies and the NPCs. We have to face the truth, and we always do. So if there's enough truth there that's good, then we're sharing it with each other, we're seeing momentum, and so I really do feel that there's hope. So I'm happy to hear that. What do you think about next year in terms of your creative projects? Anything going on with Scanza Forum or anything of that nature?
Yeah, I don't really know about any future conferences and so on. I just came to think of one thing it's not a new thing, but it's kind of a new topic that's been talked about a lot, and that's AI, which really became a topic this year. Of course, it's been around for a while, but this year it really became a big topic, and I think it's going to change a lot of how people use the online world and so on. So I think that's probably something that's really going to change, and especially for you, I guess, as an artist. It's going to change how creative people work in a lot of writers, artists, visual artists, and even musicians and so on.
Yeah, when we had Jack McCracken on the show just a bit, he had to leave, but I was on his show for a Christmas special a couple days ago. That's the Justice Report. Don't know if you know about that website, but in that discussion, AI came up, and in terms of the arts, and some people are very much against it. I really just see it like any other human revolution, that we will have to evolve around it or in reaction to it in some way, and somehow become stronger for it. Because it's not just the arts, obviously, there's so many more. How I look at it, my concern really is more about AI taking over, the government, or, the military, or this kind of like, future dystopian world where, we're dealing with things on that level.
Right.
These are real issues, and then ties into transhumanism and such. But I just wanted to, get an idea about how your year was, where you think you're going next year. Any special goals or New Year's resolutions or anything like that?
I don't really have a whole lot of New Year's resolutions. I intend to write a bit more. I'm not going to use AI for that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I enjoy writing. I haven't really set aside enough time for that in the past year. So I guess if there's a New Year's resolution, it's that I want to spend more time on writing, because I really enjoy it, and I think it's a very, very good way to sort of focus your thoughts in a way that you don't do when you just have like a conversation, which is a good thing in itself, but it's also good to sort of focus your thoughts and be more critical. And so I want to spend more time writing in the new year. But other than that, of course, I comment on current events, and of course the American election. I'm curious to see where the whole Israel-Gaza thing is going, the Ukraine war, and so on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in the next year.
Massive. So CG's got to leave. Again, it's late where he is as well. Merry Christmas, my friend. It's so good to have you on the show for a little bit and sharing what your stuff. Do you want to any comments to close out with?
Oh, I could talk for hours, but
I know,
yeah,
I know you.
as they usually do. But yeah, no, I'll just step out. Just wanted to say good night and Merry Christmas properly without bailing on you. But yeah, no, thank you for having me on again. As usual, we always have good rapport. And I want to say thank you to Frody for what he does, putting on forums and such. Those are always important things. I don't think we have enough platforms to test our ideas out in public spaces. Yeah. But it's good that we do that. But yeah, as far as my realm of things, please find us at Radio Ruin on Telegram. We broadcast on Odyssey mostly, but we're expanding into Entropy, Rumble. We eventually want to get onto Kick and stuff, but we're working on that. But yeah, the Warcast broadcasts every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's actually going live tonight because they had to push the production back because I wasn't available on hand to tonight. So if you guys do wish to catch the Warcast with Alex and Dirty D tonight, it is on tonight on Odyssey under Warcast or Dirty D. I think it's actually also in the Radio Ruin network on Odyssey. Yeah, do you guys have any questions for me before I step out, though? Because I feel like I was...
Oh, well, I think people are going to have to tune into your show and ask you there. We got people coming and going. So, but God bless you, man. It was really great having you, man.
Love being here. Donald, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And have a good night, guys. Yes. Merry Christmas. Merry
Christmas to you, brother. All right. So, who's been waiting patiently is the master of disaster, the super shredder, imminent rain, so hard. How are you doing today, Luke? It's great to have you with us.
Hey, bro. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be on here. And man, you got some really good guests here and really, really great folks in the chat too. I've been really having fun in there. So
yeah, I know.
I'm going to take off right now, so I'm just gonna say Merry Christmas to you all. And
all right,
Happy
God
New
bless
Year.
you, man.
And,
I'm sorry. It's
just thank you for inviting me.
I know it's so late, and like you made the sacrifice to do this, and I'm extremely
Don't worry about it,
you, sir. Listen, if there's any way we can collaborate, or if I can promote any of your shows in the future, the door is always open. Please reach out.
Thank you so much. Just stay in touch. Take care, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Yes, you too. Bye-bye. All right. So, Mr. Luke, what is shaking? How was your year? How was 2023?
Well, to be honest, I feel really good about a few things, and I know where I need to improve on some other things. I feel really good that I got the Prometheus album done this year.
Beauty.
That was a major victory for me personally, and very grateful to all the people that helped me do it, including yourself and a bunch of other folks from WAC and of course the Go Free community. And yeah, man, that was a really big thing. And shoot, I other than that, I've been just kind of focusing in a new direction. I'm trying my hand as an author. Wow. And the goal is to write. It's turning into a horror comedy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a based horror comedy with extremely based themes. And
nice.
It's and then after that, of course, to make a concept album based on that. So yeah, it's that's going really well. I'm using, I don't know if you've ever heard of Randy Ingermanson, but I'm using his snowflake method. It's basically a fractal method of expanding on like a seed idea for a story and then gradually extrapolating it out. And I'm getting pretty close to starting my first draft and fixing plot holes and world building, all that stuff.
Spencer is a very seasoned, amazing author. I don't know if he has any thoughts that he could share with you right now about this process. Is there anything off the top of your head, Spencer?
The thing is that as a writer, you you have to remember at all times that you're competing with so many different other kinds of media.
Mhm.
So best to make it pithy as you can. And over the years, I've gotten pretty good at being able to turn 70 words into 45 or 50 words into 25. I mean, you get, you have to discipline yourself to be able to cut as much as you can.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it's how much time you got.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
There's plot, there's character,
Actually,
there's-
if you could just speak a little closer to your microphone, that'd help a lot.
all right. Is this better or is
Yes.
this?
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
So I mean, there's prose, there's plot, there's character, and you want to make the reader want to know what's going to happen next, and that's basically it. And however you manage to juggle those three elements and achieve that kind of suspense, then you're going to have a successful book. I mean, that's my opinion. You have to put yourself in the seat of the reader and try to imagine, okay, I don't have anything invested in this work. Why would I care if, Johnny decides he wants to go out with Jenny and she turns out to be a zombie or whatever. I mean, like, you got to keep that in your mind. Why would they care? And for me, it's usually a combination of character, plot, and prose.
Character, plot, and prose.
Right, maybe other perspectives on it. That's just my take.
Wow.
I really appreciate that, Spencer. To be honest, most of what I've been working on has been exactly that. I've been mostly cutting things from my story because it's my first novel and I'm kind of a spaz. So I tried to put every cool idea into it. And it's been a lot of killing my babies, so to speak, and figuring out what is actually important to the story so I could make it a little more punchy.
Yeah.
Right. You got to stay away from the or minimize red pilled observations and stuff that would belong more in a manifesto than in a novel. I mean, you got to just think developing the character, developing the plot, and putting it in prose that at the very least is unobtrusive. Now, some people, and I'm not one of them, but some people, and Celine is a great example. Today, maybe Tito Perdue is another example of guys who can just effortlessly write beautiful prose, and you can read it out loud, and it's lovely. And other people, they're not quite as good at prose, but they're really good at building characters, or they're really good at putting in those plot twists and the cliffhangers, and they have all these things coming at you from angles you can't predict, that kind of thing. So you just determine what you're good at. If you're really good at prose and you just love writing stuff down, and the stuff that you write has this mellifluous quality to it, then make that your strong point. But if you really like the kind of plot twists that make a great thriller movie, then stick with that. And if you like the character dramas, or if you like jokes, you like funny situations. I mean, like anywhere from a comedy play movie to a sitcom, then you play to your strengths basically. And I would do that all to serve the story rather than any message that you would want to tell.
Yeah, man, I can dig it. That's what I'm shooting for. I need to get your books, man. I've heard a lot of good things about you're the No College Club guy, right?
Correct.
Yeah, man. Donald's been telling us about your books, man, and it sounded like a killer concept. And yeah, I'm gonna really have to get those, man. I appreciate your work, bro.
Thank you.
What's your story about? I mean, can you give us a little teaser on, or I don't know, little spoilers about your story, Luke?
Oh yeah, this is going to be the book that your grandma and your pastor doesn't want you to read. if you're a teenage boy, it's going to have horror, gore, sexuality, racism.
That's exciting, man. That is exciting.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's about a kid who he's given a heavy metal tape from the 80s, and it gives him demonic heavy metal powers, and he starts melting people's faces.
Is that what happened to you? Is that how you got to be who you are? Or
Well, it is my autobiography. So,
well, let's take a quick second to welcome our dear friend Jayla Dark from the monthly White Art Challenge. It's so good to have you. You're off mommy duty.
Yes, I am. Thanks for having me. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I haven't been able to listen up until this point. So if I could get like a little what's going on, what's happening?
Well, it's just been a lot of fun. I mean, I've had so many guests come and go so far. A lot of people over in Europe, so it's really late, and I'm very grateful that they came on. But it's just I'm just asking everyone, give me some highlights from your year and what you plan for next year. What are your thoughts? I'm about to show the artwork from the monthly White Art Challenge. I think that could be a great segue for us right now to show the audience the incredible new White Art Collective 2.0, what's going on, and you can talk a lot about that. So I'm going to set up the presentation.
Yes.
Well, you can just sort of like introduce the concept.
Okay, yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know about it yet, the monthly White Art Challenge is a community project of mine. I host it on Telegram right now. And basically it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a monthly White Art Challenge. Every month we have a theme. Sometimes we vote on it. Sometimes I'm a dictator. It just depends on how badly I want the theme. And we all create artwork based on this theme. It's predominantly visual artists, though we do have some poets and other writers. We have some musicians, but it's mostly visual arts. We've got oil painters, we've got woodworkers, we've got people who are very talented at carving, we've got jewelers, we've got women who do embroidery. So there's just a really large range of talent and different mediums going on there. It's a whole lot of fun. We give each other tips and tricks. We help each other grow as artists. We post our other artwork. We talk about different brands of paint and brushes and all kinds of things. It's really a blast.
How is it different from the White Art Collective? I would say there's massive differences, but also, we're rooted in the same mission and the same themes.
Yeah. Well, the White Art Collective was, it was very much kind of a live stream community. There was a lot of live streaming, and it was a very musical community. Now the monthly White Art Challenge is basically a giant group chat, and we do every once in a while we do a stream. We try to do it once a month for a while, but mommy duty. So we do try to stream like once a month just directly to Telegram, where we go over last month's submissions and we talk about the new theme and its historical context, or it can just be comfy and informative, and we just chit chat about things. So there's a lot of differences there, just because my group is primarily based on visual arts.
Phenomenal. So we're gonna kind of scroll through some of the images here, and I don't know the names of everybody, even though I'm an admin in the group. Unfortunately, I can't. I'm so busy I can't get to know everyone individually. If you want to say some names, tell us about who we're working with, some of the aspects of their art. Anything you can say to help the audience enjoy this?
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second. Did you repeat your question?
Sorry. Technical things. I just wanted to know if you could talk about the art and the artists. I don't know the names of all these different artists.
Oh yeah, this right here, this is Sigmund's work, and he does a lot of different wood carving. I have got to look up his channel, Wessex Woodcraft. He's on Telegram, and he does these pagan icons. He does other work too. He shares people who also do woodwork and wood carving. One of our admins does. He makes like boxes. He does like a lot of Scandinavian knotwork in his carving. But he's very talented.
Brilliant. Yeah. So I pulled off a lot of different images from the Telegram. And they're not all sort of in order or what have you. And I only had so much time to take so much off there. But I just think here's an amazing example of some like gorgeous artwork. Yes. As a painter myself, I really, really vibe with this.
Yes, this is another one of our admins. This is Cersei Melano, and she is a fabulous oil painter. And I mean, not just oil painter, she dabbles in all kinds of mediums,
Yeah.
but her oil painting has really just taken off this year. She's done some lovely work. I believe this is the one that she did for October's Gothic theme.
And she's an absolute sweetheart as well.
She is.
Yeah. So I'm just like, wow, this just wows me. I really, really love this piece. There's I don't know if he's a Dutch painter. Latour is his name, and I'm sure she would know who I'm talking about. He always uses a candle as a sort of central lighting effect, and has the same kind of palette as this, the kind of like earth tones and such. So like it's for anyone who knows about art history, this is a beautiful tipping of the hat to Latour's paintings. So let's look at some more examples. I believe this is Aaron art. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's just been killing it with palette paintings lately.
Oh, yeah. Now he and I were both on the Justice Report's Christmas show, and it's really cool. Like he's quite a bold, he's a really strong character. There's a very strong will, and for a guy who's in our sphere to have broken into the art world and now making a living from it is just like, what, it's really quite amazing. And I'm really impressed with what he's accomplished with that, and even his artwork's very bold. You can see he's using a kind of like a palette knife here, and there's just all kinds of different things at play in this piece that it's really very strong work. I have to mention some of the music in our sphere as well. I asked Lord Wolfshield to come on the show. I think he couldn't make it, but certainly we're looking at some core members here. And just to represent that there's musicians, in our group as well. Still, tell us about this piece here. Do you know who did this one?
Yes, this is a newer member. I actually need to go back really fast and look up her name. But yeah, she is fabulous. She goes by Nigrum Knox.
Okay.
Don't ban us, YouTube. It's not what it sounds like.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah. No, but she is extremely talented. This is, I think, her second submission, and she is a digital artist. So this is all done, I believe, on an iPad with Procreate.
Yeah, the use of just the inverted black and white, kind of sort of drawing white or etching white on black, is a really interesting quality there. So like, just not something that you see very often. And then of course the framing of it with this, I don't know what kind of plant that is, but and the what is it called, the horns. I don't know. There's just something kind of very indigenous about this.
Well, yeah, it's a Yule goat.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of this kind of theme in a lot of the work that we see. Now, is this
this month? Yes.
This was posted in the group, but I don't know if he's in the group.
No.
No. Okay.
He's not in the group.
All right. We'll move on. Hey, Uncle A, how you doing, buddy? So these are what do you call these? Christmas ornaments. Lovely, right there. I like the photography as well, how it is presented. That's another nice thing is maybe you could tell us a little bit about the Christmas sales event that you had.
Yeah, it was a auction actually, and we did that at the end of November. I believe we started it either the day before or the day after Thanksgiving, right around there. We did a charitable art auction to go to our lovely friend Hyrith, who has recently gone through probably just a nightmare of an experience, losing her fiance and the owner of Whack, Jeff. And so yeah, I wanted to create a thing that was community building in Jeff's honor, as well as give artists a chance to donate more meaningfully, to raise more money for her. So we had a number of artists donate artwork to this, and I created a very large group chat for bidding. Telegram has a topics feature where you can organize an individual group chat under different topics. So the way I did it was each topic was a different item to be bidded on. And yeah, we ended up selling every single item, and we raised over $1,600 for her.
that's just astonishing. That's just really incredible. We hold Hyrith in our hearts and our prayers very, very deeply. Of course, that event was, it really hit us all very profoundly, and I'm choosing very much to kind of turn this into something positive in a sense, is to kind of carry on the community the way that I can, obviously with my platform. And I think I need to compliment you for what you're doing and accomplishing with your platform, the monthly White Art Challenge. It's extraordinary.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of this project, and I'm very proud of all of our artists. And we've just got
yeah.
there's so much talent in there. Like, so many people there, like, put me to shame, honestly. And it's humbling to have, like, amassed all these incredibly talented people and towards a common cause.
Yeah, it is tremendous. So it's just a joy to be around this as well, to see, to make new friends, and to be all bonded together with our unique cause, and then all the different sort of visions that people have. Something that you've brought in is all the craft element. There's so many crafts in this group that we never had before in the first sort of iteration of the White Art Collective. So it's quite exciting. Who did this piece here?
Our friend Ginger. She is a pretty talented seamstress, and she has been having a lot of fun around Christmas. She made a Victorian styled Victorian boot styled stocking.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to commission one of those from her, because those are just too cute.
Very clever. Now, is this the same Birdie that is acting in Wolf Shield's new film? She was on the Justice Report as well with me. Lovely gal. I mean, just a super sweetheart. So it's just so cool to have all these new friends, and to see all the talent that they have. And then interesting crossover with graphic arts, as well as how a lot of these are used as album covers or CD covers for a lot of the people that are musicians in our sphere. And I'm really loving these Christmas ornaments as well. And by the way, Spencer and Imminent Rain, you guys can chime in at all at any time if you have comments, questions. Same thing with the audience, if you guys have any comments or questions. Jay the Dark is running the monthly White Art Challenge. It's a Telegram group, and they make art and they make crafts. They sell them. They serve the community. You're not going to be able to buy this in a store, And
No.
So I think this is another theme. I think that it is important in our movement, in our culture, is the idea of having a kind of intra economy, where patrons and supporters of the arts can find specialty items like this and have special things crafted. You get some fantastic commissions. A lot of your work, Jay, the commission work you do is just like, floors me. It's really
Thank you.
incredible stuff. Like, can you talk a little bit about your work, your commission work?
Well, my biggest seller are those floral sunwheel pieces that I do. It's the piece of wood that's arched, and I create a frame inside of the arch out of some out of polymer clay and a mold that I have, and then within it I paint florals as well as a sunwheel, or sometimes a rune of people's choice. But that's probably my most popular and biggest seller as far as bigger commission work goes. I did sell all of the Christmas ornaments that I made this year, which were those little sunwheel tags that you saw a few minutes ago. Probably one of my favorite pieces that I've done is a very large, well, it's not super large, but it's pretty big. It's about 24 inches long, and it was a shelf that I did a similar framing with the polymer clay, and it's also got an arch, but it's a Gothic arch, and it's flanked by two panels. And on one panel, it's a Death in the Maiden theme. On one panel, there's a dancing blonde woman, and she is got rose vines behind her. And then on the other panel is a little skeleton man banging on his drum, and he's got dead branches behind him. And it's got a shelf. I custom designed a odal rune pattern to go along the edge of it. It'd be better to have pictures of it, but yeah.
So yeah, the people in the chat are loving this stuff. I think it's really really sweet. I'm also loving here. You know, here we go. We got some jewelry. There's metal work. There's leather work. There's woodwork. This is a whole
Yes.
new chapter in the white art community to have all these wonderful people joining us, and I'm just so proud of the community and the work that they do. Can you talk a little bit about this image here? This looks like, was this a gift package, or is
No,
this?
this is our friend Rebecca from Higher Ideals. She is just a fabulous supporter of the community. She is such a gem, and every year around Christmas, she gathers the things that she has purchased for her family as Christmas gifts, so that she can promote, the people selling in our community. That little mushroom door thing. That's actually a picture frame. I made that, along with the little odal rune cutting board. I made that. To the right of that, with the Artemis drawing, that was created by Circe Melano. That's some of her
Incredible.
digital artwork.
Love that art.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then down towards the bottom with the little moth earrings and the necklaces, that's made by Maiden's Hair. She sells custom jewelry. We've also got, the books. We've got the Above Time coffee in there. We've got Traditional Apothecary. She's down at the bottom left, and I actually did her branding for her. And by the way, if anybody needs like shampoo bars or tallow bombs, she is the way to go. She is fantastic. Her prices are good. Her products are all organic and safe. Her Noble shampoo bar is tear free. So I use it on my toddler all the time because it's inevitably going to get in his eyes.
That's great.
Yeah. So she's fabulous.
So here's an important question. Luke is saying, like, how can people buy this? Where can they go to buy items like this?
Well, a lot of these people have their own websites, but a lot of us, like for myself, I just sell directly through Telegram. I think Maiden's Hair sells directly to Telegram. The Witch Mother, she's the one who made those fabulous earrings that you were showing a few minutes ago, beaded earrings. She has an Etsy account, and she also does custom orders as well. So we're kind of all over the place right now. But if you follow the monthly White Art Challenge, or if you join our group, you can find all of us there, and you can go and sub to our channels, and you can find where we're selling.
Now, this is one of your pieces, correct?
This is a collab piece between me and Black Sun Creations. I did the original design for this digitally. I drew those Edelweiss flowers. I created that Roman swastika pattern around the edge there, and I made that in Adobe Illustrator, and I sent it over to her, and she has a really cool laser engraver.
Oh.
So she laser engraved it and then shipped that to me, and I took it and stained it and painted it.
That's crazy. I'm loving it.
I know, isn't it cool?
It's so sweet. I want this so bad.
It's sold. I'm sorry.
Oh, shucks. Okay. I'll
No, that was actually our biggest seller in the auction for Hyrith.
Oh, that's marvelous.
We could probably make more, though. Just, message me later.
Right. Oops, let me scoot back a tiny bit here. I'm loving this stuff here. Once again, like, would you call this embroidery? I believe it is.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, a lot of organic. Now, this piece really, really touches me. I completely.
Yes.
This one.
Miss Sally did that one. She's the same one who did the Uncle A painting, little Uncle A ornament paintings.
Yeah, I mean, the concept, the design, the handling of the materials. This is museum quality art. It just is just stunning. I'm really, really impressed with this. So
yeah, she's fabulous.
So Copper Druid, you could probably like Google that name, and you'd probably find his shop to see his copper works and such. Another one of your pieces, correct?
That is exactly what I was referring to towards my bestsellers, is this piece right here.
Okay. It's exquisite. It's just lovely.
You.
And there's, I mean, I could pour out all kinds of sweet words on you, all the compliments and everything, but like the work speaks for itself. So it's marvelous.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't need my head swelling that much, so it's okay.
And here's another piece on that theme. And these look like actual leaves. Am I right? Or I don't know.
Yes, she actually she used real leaves to create these.
That's really cool. Beautifully conceived, you know. And it was some of the soap that we had. You probably
Mhm.
had some in that earlier. It's kind of fun. Yeah. And, you know, just to look at people doing craft fairs and whatnot. I used to work a lot of comic book conventions, various craft fairs, selling my arts as well. It's a big part of the artist lifestyle. And once again, a beautiful piece here. The expressiveness of the light in here is very powerful, beautifully done. Subtractive drawing with erasing off there. It's quite lovely. And this is our girl again. She's in the admin group, I believe, right?
Cersei, yes.
Yeah, see, that's really beautifully done. Classical themes, very nice.
Yeah, it's a study of the birth of Venus.
Right. This is a great piece as well. Excellent crafts.
That's Maiden's Hair, the lady who sells the really pretty nymph-like jewelry of like moths and stuff. She did this one. She's very talented with her
No
with
doubt.
drawing as well.
No doubt. Yeah. And these are cool. It's like I have to get one of these. I just have to.
This is actually not someone in our group.
Oh,
This is
oops.
somebody was inquiring where they could buy one of these, and this was linked to them.
Okay.
So we can,
Well,
yes, but they are extremely cool.
somebody who could be in the group is what I would say. That, you know,
Yeah.
themes are there. Beautifully illustrated piece of Uncle A. I love the stippling in here. Powerful, really well done with the lighting, etc. There's a nice piece as well. So yeah, this is actually done with flower petals, I believe.
Yep.
What
It's
was the
done with
theme?
with flower petals, and oh my gosh, I think this one was Rebirth. I want to say this was around March, like kind of spring and rebirth. I could be wrong,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's very creative. It's all organic materials there.
really, definitely. And there's our guy
Yes.
again.
Yeah, that's Joel. He's another member. He's a member of our admin team, and yes, he does the Scandinavian knots in his woodworking and makes boxes and spoons and all kinds of stuff.
And if you'd like to know more about Joel, you can find him. I did an interview with him on my channel. You just kind of scroll around, you'll find the icon there for the show. And I want to have more of the monthly group artists on my channel to do special features on their art, help them sell it as well. But then also to help the audience, to enrich the audience for them to learn about our history, our culture, our crafts, etc. So it's quite wonderful. A lot of us are familiar with Hyrith's last album. You did the graphic design. So once again, it's kind of bringing some of the music back. And hey, well, who did this book here? Oh, that's a little Donald Kent plug for you. That's my book, Imperium Calling. You can look that up on Amazon, Imperium Calling, The Art and Poetry of Donald Kent. Please get a copy immediately. Once again, more Wolf Shield. I guess I'm just... Oh, there. This is nice. I feel like we need a close-up of this piece here. You did this, correct?
I did. I've done her last two album covers.
Marvelous. Are you going to do any music with her? Any vocals or anything like that?
You know, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's just I don't know if my mic can handle music or not. And also I'm shy, so we'll see.
Yeah. Stage fright, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, just moving on through here. Sun Vessel, this is really beautiful. I love these kind of things with the runes and etc. Nice display. Another nice piece here. Beautifully illustrated. I like the use of the gray background. It pops the color out more. Very decorative in its own way. Oh, this is a little look at my show, Patriotic Art Live with Patriotic Arts Community, Paul Patriart in UK. I just wanted to kind of pop that in there to let people know. This is one of the themes that we did on that show as well. This is in general, like more broader than outside of, we're not part of the monthly challenge, but I'm kind of trying to segue into the broader work and things that I'm doing, share a little bit about that with the audience as well. One of the themes was Robert E. Lee. I don't know, a month ago or 2 months ago, they melted down a Robert E. Lee statue, and Black Lives Matter were there to watch it, and they made a big show out of it, celebrating it. And so we thought, well, we're going to make art about him to kind of, resuscitate his memory and like take back the narrative there. Kind of stealing the show a little bit here. Some more of my artwork from the Patriotic Live show. You can find that on my YouTube here. It's on Tuesdays. Mark Collette couldn't make it on the show tonight. There was a time issue, something. And so I asked him maybe he could come on this show next week or sometime soon, because it's at 11 o'clock a.m. in the East Coast. So I think, he might be able to make it. That'll be fun. And anyway, getting back to the monthly group here, this piece is exquisite. I love this piece. Who's the artist?
That's Cersei again.
God, she's killing me.
I know. She's so fabulously talented.
Oh man, I'm jealous. That's it. I quit. No.
But, don't do it.
No, yeah, right. I know. I mean, the whole thing, like the design of it, just gosh.
Is the artist Muka? I mean, it reminds me of the.
It does look like
art.
Yes, that was our Art Nouveau theme. She did this for.
Right. It's
Muka. Is that his name?
Yeah. Alphonse Mucha.
Mucha, I think is
Yes, that's the guy. He's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this reminds me of that.
Clearly. I mean,
very heavily influenced by him.
It's stunning. I wonder, does she use it? Is this all by hand, or it seems like there must be some digital work?
This is digital.
Oh,
I believe she used an iPad and Procreate.
Oh, okay. Because like those designs would be impossible to draw by hand. It seems, Of course, Mucha could do it, but we can't. Exquisite.
She could probably do it.
Yeah, there you go. And just the concept of it too. It's very, very cool. Is it Artemis or who is this?
It is. It's Artemis.
Very cool stuff. All right. I don't know. I think that's all for the for that. And I just think that this has been an incredible show. I want to thank you guys. It's about 9 o'clock, so we've been going for about 2 hours here. We had lots of really cool guests, lots of fun in the chat. Anybody in the chat have any questions before we wrap up the show? Anyway, I'll let you guys think for a minute. Let's say maybe I'll let you wrap it up. We'll start with Luke. Any closing words and plans for next year?
Well, I would sure like to make a point of being more involved in the monthly White Art Challenge. I think that is so rad, and I definitely want to get my hands on your book, the one with the dude that's crawling out of the earth, Donald, and also Spencer's book, at least the first one, as a start. And I just we had a pretty tragic year this year.
We did,
but at the same time, I'm very hopeful for the future, and I think it's going to be important for us to just carry on and do our best to think about our dear friends, looking down on us and try to make them proud.
100%. Spencer, would you like to share any closing thoughts?
Well, want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, New Year. I can't really go any further than what was just said. It's all correct. It's all true. There's always challenges ahead, and we just have to keep it in our hearts and our minds to maintain our discipline over ourselves, to maintain our optimism, to keep going, to keep finding meaning in life, no matter what gets thrown in our way, no matter how discouraged we can get. I wrote an article after January 6th, 2021, and the title was "Despair is a Sin." And I take that to heart as much as I can whenever something bad happens, or whenever I feel like things are getting very, very difficult. Just don't fall in despair. You keep moving forward, and the body adjusts. The body overcomes, and you get used to whatever you have to get used to, and then suddenly things normalize again. And then you think, well, what was I so upset about over? He's still alive.
That's a really great thing to kind of close on as well, and that's really what we're doing. Is we're choosing to pick ourselves up, pick up the pieces to rebuild ourselves. And I think the new iteration of the white art community is so much broader and bigger, and we're energized to move forward. There's a lot of great things happening on the horizon. So we did get a question for Jay. Any chance White Art Challenge will be on other platforms?
I've considered it. Unfortunately, the only platforms, like mainstream platforms, that could possibly facilitate it, I am permanently banned from. But like such as Twitter and Facebook, I can't use those anymore. But and Gab, I've considered it, but Gab just makes me angry. So I don't know. We'll see. I have thought about that, but Telegram really is kind of the best app I've used to facilitate like a large group chat like this. So if the MWAC does expand to other platforms, it's probably going to be a submission only posting thing.
Okay. Actually, if anybody can kind of show us how to monetize and or like to take advantage of Gab as a platform, I've kind of been on and off there. It feels like Facebook to me, and I feel it's very meh, but I know it's free speech, and there's a lot of space for our movement there. But if anybody can kind of reach out if you have any knowledge about that, we'd appreciate that. My buddy Ao is saying here, be ready for the year of the dragon. Yes, indeed. This is quite an amazing time that we've had tonight. I want to thank everybody again in the chat who's come. I want to thank everyone who's watching the show in the playback. So much coming down the line here. We love you so much, and we care about you, and we're producing so much. We're serving the broader community, the movement. So let's just say Merry Christmas, Happy Yuletide, and Happy New Year, and we will see you guys on the other side. Okay, God bless.